mixed audience, and some people are not even aware of some of these regulatory frameworks that we have in Lagos State. Do you mind if you list some of them and their names? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. There are so many laws in Lagos State that are governing the Lagos State, starting from the Constitution itself, or entitles to own Lagos State. But we also have the Land Use Act, which is more or less the foundational legislation that governs the issue of land, which all Lagos State transactions are based. For the purpose of this discussion, or in the context of our discussion today, the Lagos State Regulatory Law is there. Of course, we have the Regulation of Titles Law, we have the Capital Gains Law, which also affects the issue of land transaction. Of course, we have the Mortgage Law, and there are also that. So there are so many of these legislation that actually affect land in Lagos State.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we continue, please, we have Mr. Bakile Diroke, SAN, the zonal coordinator of EFCC. So we are so sorry. If you are here, please join us. Can we encourage him as he walks to the seat? We know that real estate transactions sometimes it's involved with some form of financial related crime, especially when you're not aware or when you do not do your financial due diligence. So we want to know, how does the Economic Crimes Commission address issues of corruption in real estate development, and what impact does this have on sustainable practices?
Okay, thank you very much. I was actually thinking the panel is very maybe what they said I should be there because of questions like this. And it's a privilege and honor to be here. Thank you. It appears an opportunity to actually talk about this. If I read out the statistics, it's just one year for you of the complaints we have received in the real estate sector, and then the amount of money that has been lost to issues related to this, you will be amazed. And you know, if we're talking about the sustainable development for Lagos, if we're talking about a very good future for Lagos in the real sector, there must be integrity in the whole process. A lot of people are parting with a lot of monies to some of these guys that are around in the sector. So what is the EFCC doing? The EFCC within 1 year has received a lot of complaints. I don't want to rely on statistics here, but we have even had some of them charged to court. We've even had convictions for some of the people this year. Now, the areas we see always is falsification of documents. We have had the senior advocates are here, very senior lawyers. We've had some lawyers challenging what is the business of EFCC when it comes to land management. Land management is simple in nature. But you see, yeah, it's simple when it comes to the issue of ownership and title. But when it comes to the issue of somebody falsifying a document to go and enter into a transaction for land, it becomes criminal. When somebody claims that he has land for sale, and in fact we have a lot of this every day, where you see people entering into transactions. The man has just initiated a transaction with the state government, trying to get title for a particular land. Title has not been processed, the process has not been completed, but he has gone into transaction with people, collecting billions of naira from them. If something happens in the course of it and then that processing of the title does not go through, he starts speaking language when he has somebody's money, and that becomes obtained under false pretenses. It no longer is an issue of just ordinary land transaction. So we are doing a lot about that, and I want to commend the SA to the governor on this because she took the bold step. That's why I stayed here. I said, even if I'm going to speak here, my God with me, and I'm going to be here. Yes, because thank you very much. She demonstrated willingness to sanitize the industry. She and her team paid a courtesy call to our office. We had a long day discussing about most of these issues. We are having two different people having governors consent on the same land. We are having issues of local allocation. We are having issues of people falsifying documents, cloning documents, and everything. So it's something we need to put out there in the space. So it's a privilege to be here, and we are going to work together with them. The other time we agreed with her that all of those issues are just simple, where it's just a failed transaction between parties and it's not criminal. We are going to push those kind of cases to them to reconcile at that level. But the one that has to do with criminality, gentlemen, we can never be blackmailed. We will continue to do what we have to make sure that we support Lagos to achieve that sustainable development that we desire. We will not back down on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. One more question for you, because we have just 20 minutes. So, what role does the Commission play in ensuring compliance with the Sustainable Development Regulations? And how can the interagency collaboration enhance these efforts?
So, interagency collaboration is just what I just commended our wonderful president now. That is the step she took to come to the EFCC to collaborate with the law enforcement agency to achieve that. And that was why I took time to commend her seriously on that. And like I told you, our doors are open. We are ready to partner with the state government, to support the state government, to flush out the quacks and the bad elements in that sector. Do you know? Yes. Do you know? Clap. How would you feel if all you hope for and you desire to have a house for yourself in Lagos, and you gathered everything you have, and then somebody tells you that, yeah, I can help you please. There are people that are coming from abroad. If you want to settle down in Lagos here, there are citizens of the state, there are prospective settlers who are coming in, and you bring the investment, and then the investment goes down the drain. We have issues of moneyless. Also, we are battling with that, where you have a certificate of occupancy for a property in Lagos, and then you go to that place to commence development, and then moneyless will appear there and chase you from where the land does not belong to you. As if they are rendering the power of government important. And that cannot be allowed to fester. If you do that, there will be no integrity in the process, the development, and that sustainable development that we desire for Lagos. That's hailing the government and his team for what he is doing. So the government cannot allow those kind of people to hijack the process and make it terrible like that. And then I emphasize the issue of this on the part of the government. I want to use this opportunity to stress this. Please, let us, because if I give you an example, I have somebody with a case of over $1 billion. He has a property, he wants to go and start developing the property, and then he discovered that he has a document, another person has the same document, and we try to verify, because we assume that one of the documents must be fake. So, but in the course of verifying the document, we discovered that both of them were genuine.
Just imagine.
So this matter ended in court, and the judge had to, at the end of the day, give it to the person that had the first allotee, and then directed that the other person be reallocated somewhere else. Now this is where internally we have also sanitized the processes to ensure that this does not happen in the system. That is on the part of government. And then I felt very happy when I had the time that when they assured that CO4 can be processed within 30 days. Because if we are talking about sustainable development, we are talking about people to have integrity, to have confidence in the process, to invest in Lagos, then that aspect of ease of doing business must be reviewed. So saying that is a very, very big one for prospective investors in the real estate in Lagos. So for us in EFCC, we are ready and willing and ever ready, let me emphasize that, to take the bull by the horns, to flush out bad elements in the system as we work together on the system to achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I don't know how many people have heard me talk about how we started female lawyers in real estate practice. It was one of the things we are trying to address, how to mitigate real estate investment risk. Because we bought a property sometime 2013, and we discovered there were a double C of O's. And at the point we report. We've already conducted search and the lands, everything was looking fine, and then we proceeded to make an initial payment of 100 million. And after initial payments, and then we took over the property, demolished. That's when the other party showed interest and said, no, this property is under litigation. And by the time judgment was given, it was given against the family where we bought from, and we lost because they too lost. And this issue must be very, very visited, and I don't know what the lands are doing about it. So, because of that, I want to ask our next question to Mr. Bamidele. Let everything answer. How can legal professionals advocate for more sustainable real estate practices?
Sorry, sis.
Frameworks are both robust and flexible enough to accommodate innovation in this sector. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Permit me to stand on the existing protocols. I will quickly say that the laws that we have in place are quite adequate. I think the major problem that we have is enforcement. We have a lot of issues with enforcement. If we can, there are so many laws in Lagos State. Even the laws, look at the Land Authority law. The federal tried to contest it with us, and we went to court. Lagos people are very enlightened, and we are identified for the right. That's why you have AG, Lagos State, and AG Federation. They fought it out, and planning became exclusive duty of Lagos State, of state. In fact, Lagos State won on behalf of all other states. So even if the land belongs to the federal government, it means that the state will be the one to pretend over the planning of that state. So as I said, the laws are many. What we need to do, the laws are poverty-free. What we need to do is proper implementation of the law. And I also think that the penalties are not that steep. If you have steep penalties, people will fall in line. If you look at this, Lagos State Regulation Authority law, there is a punishment for people failing to register. I can assure you that I'm not aware that anybody has been punished for not registering. Nobody has been fined for not registering under this law. Look at tenancy law of Lagos State also. It says that don't pay more than 1 year to any landlord. You pay more than 1 year, you go to jail, you pay fines or both. But I can tell you for free that if you enforce that, if you stay in your father's house, you go and stay under the bridge. So there is no enforcement of those laws. That is the major problem we have. So we have adequate laws to fear. We can do better, but the laws that we have now can sustain us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, Mr. Additional Secretary General, sir, this question is coming to you. What role do zoning regulations play in promoting sustainable land use? And how can this be improved to better serve the needs of Lagos urban population?
Okay, good afternoon all. Okay, so the issue of zoning is quite clear. It's an advisory as to what can be where. Now, when a plan is prepared of a particular community, the zoning is to give advice to the investors or those that will develop of what kind of development can be put in different areas. For instance, residential, commercial, agric, and a whole lot of other uses. So this is what has been projected and planned to ensure that you have a same community. And so if it is adhered to, So for us, at the Office of State Security, one of the mandates of the office is to give parcel status report. So that parcel status report, one of the lines there is to give advice as to what use the parcel that is shown on the survey plan that is brought before us can be used. For instance, you have applied for that land information certificate, is what we call that product. At the completion of that process, the applicant is then aware of what use the parcel of land he or she has can be put to. For instance, you made purchase of a parcel of land with the intention of putting on a residential apartment. But when you obtain the land information certificate, it's telling you that the zoning is for agricultural use. Of course, it is our belief that you should proceed to change your plan. So, one of the advice that we give is ever before you even make a purchase, it is advisable for you to approach the Office of the State Security General to obtain what we call a charting information, which is a product that gives advice in support of your intention before you ever invest. So, in all, my advice is that generally, before you invest, you must ensure that you have information about so that the information that you have will support your plan or your intention before you ever go into any investment. That is what I can say about how zoning of parcels or communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that. My next question goes to the issue of Lagos State. Sir, what measures are Lagos State government taking to ensure that existing real estate regulations are effectively implemented? And how do these measures align with the goals of sustainable development?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody again. Well, I can tell you that apart from the various laws that have been rolled out, the enforcement aspect of it, starting from the developers, estate agents, that in their own rank have decided to be fraudulent and to defraud. For the record, which I can just give you some snippets, we have already been prosecuted. Some of the defaulters of our laws, in the case of State Explain Alabi, he was able to succeed in collecting over 52 million from 215 prospective tenants for property located in K2. We have another being prosecuted in the case of Mufta Shimla and others. It succeeded in defrauding people over 43 million over 150 prospective tenants for 14 apartments somewhere in Shangotedo. And of course, we have another about 2.5 million over 129 prospective tenants, as I've said. That is just to let you know that the enforcement in that respect is ongoing. Now, on the civil aspect, which has been mentioned, issue of registration. of our estate, every participant in real estate should actually have registration. And their registration, there must be adequate sanction for failure to register and now engage in estate transaction. And I can say the tenancy law of the state is being tinkered with already. Very soon, I hope the chairman is still here, House Committee on Housing, so that when we get there, we can quickly get it amended to ensure that all estate agents, for you to get involved in estate, in land, in tenancy transaction, you must be registered. If you are not registered, there's penalty. They have not been provided in the law. How much you are able to take or charge as your commission. The maximum you can charge will also be provided. Like also in the legal profession, if the property is not too large, you can begin to talk about 10%. But where your 10% is going to be going to 1 billion, then you can negotiate to 5%, 2.5%, things like that. So those are part of the things for the enforcement. But for me, for purpose of promoting sustainable estate development, there's a need for us to attach more importance to environmental impact assessment for developers. There's also need for adherence to zoning, as has been said, and of course the land use that you put. If there's adherence, we have less problem. And because this one will prevent overdevelopment and congestion. And of course, for sustainable development, we also need to have in place provisions to tackle housing deficits, which has been spoken about today, and of course to address what are referred to as landlord's nightmare in the states, in which a landlord will be unable to recover possession of his property for 5 years, and the matter will be in court. And I think I can tell you, the state government is already also working. It's part of what we are working on the tenancy law to ensure that litigation in tenancy disputes should not last more than 3 to 6 months in our courts, and any appeal by tenants in respect of any judgment against him, well, you have the right of appeal, but it will be without prejudice to the continued payment of rents, without which your right of appeal cannot be activated. These are part of the things we are putting on. And this is to encourage both local and foreign investors to invest more in the housing sector. Because now you can hardly have developers who wants to be collecting monthly rents or even daily rent. They would rather prefer to buy and sell off. Buy or sell or give out a lease of not less than 5 years, 10 years. How can the poor and the less privileged earning monthly salary? How can that's why they say there's housing deficit? I have to say go to Kegaji. There are so many houses there unoccupied. Apart from, let's put aside maybe some people using houses to do money laundering. But even if it's doing money laundering, let it be occupied. But where the owner, the landlord, will not be sure that if he collects 1 year rent, the following year the tenant fails to pay, where is the guarantee for him that he will be able to recover his rent? And that is an issue we are already addressing by the new amendment coming to the tenancy law to ensure that when you have even mortgage, when you are sure that within 3 to 6 months you are out of the court, and even if you are in court, your arrears of rent to continue to pay until you finish the case. I think the tenant will think twice for playing on the landlord. Thank you.
Thank you